And just like that, we are back. Once again, it's your boy 12 Kyle. This is the 12 Kyle podcast. And as I mentioned in the intro, we are taking it back to 1990. Phenomenal album that dropped that year, March 20th, 1990. The group Bell Biv DeVoe drops the Poison album. And the album's turning 30 years, if you can't count. It's 30 years old. And as I mentioned in the intro, my man is back in the building. Eclectik is in the building. E, what up, baby?
What up, man? You know how it is. Ain't nothing changed.
Exactly. Man, I had to get you on, man. And first and foremost, man, let me thank you for coming on because I normally try to schedule these things way out, but, a lot of stuff happening and I, kind of slipped my mind. And I was like, oh, shit. So let me ask Eclectik if he wants to get on because I know he would be pissed if I did a podcast and did not tell him about this one because
wait. Haven't you done podcasts?
Oh,
my
see, there we go.
Albums?
There we go. Yeah,
and
see,
it wasn't even I'm gonna do this.
I did. Hey, I recorded at 1 a.m. Man, I'm sorry.
Or I did this. It was just it just popped up on the feed. I'm like, oh, so you did that? Okay, cool. So I'll listen. So don't make it seem like I knew I had to get you on here because it's just don't fool. Don't listen to the audience. Don't listen to this guy.
You guys
he literally made podcast episodes of my favorite shit, and
but most of them you've been on.
No, I've been on none of them.
Yes, you have. You on the Bobby Brown? The Don't Be Cruel album joint. We did that. We did Paid in Full. We did a few joints.
I'm sorry, I interrupted your intro. Go ahead, man.
Anyway, my man Eclectik's in the building, man. And we're going to talk. This is one of his favorite albums. If you've been following the podcast, you know that we did a best albums, R&B albums from the 90s. And this one, definitely I think it was in his top 5, if I'm not mistaken, on the top of my head, of the 90s. And it was definitely an honorable mention for me. One of my favorite albums from the 1990s, R&B albums, Bell Biv DeVoe's Poison album. So we're going to break down. We're going to get into the tracks in a little bit. But before we get started, man, Bell Biv DeVoe, 3 guys, Ricky Bell, Michael Bivins, and Ronnie DeVoe, all from, one of my favorite groups of all time, New Edition. These guys ventured off and they, started their own little group. I mean, I guess I probably should start by asking, what did you think about when you heard that they were coming out with an album? Because I think at the time, the Heartbreak album had already come out. That came out in 88. And so, you got these guys going solo. Ralph was going solo. Johnny had already gone solo. He had been a solo artist before. And so, Bobby was doing his thing. He was the king of R&B. And Bell Biv DeVoe, decided to, I guess by default, start their own group. What did you think about the idea, the concept behind that once you found out about it? Because, of course, I'm assuming that you heard it somewhere because, we didn't have the internet in 1990.
Yeah, no. I knew that Bell Biv DeVoe was a thing when Poison came out.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about anything. I was surprised, shocked, and hyped when I saw that. But I knew nothing about nothing. Mm-hmm. I didn't know Ralph was going solo. I didn't know Baby D was going. Oh boy, I mean, he could have died. So,
shout out to Johnny.
No shout outs that way. But I tell you what, when I did see it, I was almost as happy as, a Bobby Brown joint because they were brand new. Mm-hmm. When BBD came out, it legitimately seemed like New Edition was holding them back. It was seem like, wait a minute, this is what we could have got.
Right.
and, and, and you was giving us crucial loving. Oh, okay. So I mean, it's just crazy. It seemed, I mean, they went from boy band, pop group. I mean, the Heartbreak was, but then they just took it. They took it to the streets.
Right.
New Edition's never been in the streets.
Never. Not even close to the streets.
The closest they got was actual Heartbreak video.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was like a remix. That was like the only time they had a remix of anything. But no. When they dropped, it was like, yo, since when were they this cool?
Right.
And the style of dress, mad jerseys, and the sneakers, the weird brim hats. I mean, a little further in, as we got the videos and stuff, they was really the first to give us the airbrush jeans, the airbrushed overalls. Yep. I mean, the mix-and-match socks, mix-and-match shoes. I mean, I was like, yo, I'm biting all of this. They were the first people since Slick Rick that I was like, nah, I need to dress like that. Mm-hmm. I need to be this cool. I mean, all the different college teams Biv was wearing, and so that plus when I heard the music and thinking, yo, since when are they, in the street? Mm-hmm. So I mean, I loved it, and because 1990 it wasn't super deep for R&B. Right. It was top heavy. Mm-hmm, very much so. You had info. They dropped Born to Sing. Keith Sweat had I'll Give All My Love to You, which is an incredible album. Really People sleep on Keith. People hate on Keith, but I will say this: I do not think, and I will keep saying this: I do not think another R&B singer had a better first and second album than Keith Sweat. Yeah, his freshman and sophomore. You said that, and you stuck by that. I will stand on it forever. D'Angelo's close, but he's also neo-soul. True. Anyway, the Revival by Tony came out. I'm Your Baby Tonight by Old Girl that came out. Stop it! But why? That's
Rest in peace to Nippy.
So I said, "Oh, girl, you say Nippy." What does it mean? You know what I'm saying? So, but that was really about it. Graffiti Bridge, Ralph. You said Ralph. So that came out. Yep. Mariah Carey's joint, but that's pop. Yeah, that wasn't pop. Really R&B. So yeah, it was. Now hip hop was different. A lot of dope stuff dropped in hip hop in 1990.
Tell them.
Well, I will. Edutainment, if you want to get a Blastmaster. America Cause Most Wanted came out. All for One, Brand Nubian. Mama Said came out. Step in the Arena, Wanted Dead or Alive. Forever Black Planet. Yes. People's Instinctive came out. Yes. Short Dogs in the House came out in 90, I think. Okay, Solo came out. Sex Package, Digital Underground. Yes. What else came out there? Holy Intellect, The Poor Righteous Teachers, that joy came out. The Killer Will, Granddaddy IU, Smooth Assassin came out. True indeed. Whack Ass Taste of Chocolate came out. CMW and the Blue Tape, the Blue album came out. CMW, Shout out to CMW. Thing. Back from Hell, Run DMC. Mm-hmm. And the greatest, technically the greatest album, Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em came out.
Everybody had that Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em album. Yeah, I had to tell you. So, shout out to him.
Yeah, a lot of shit came out in 90, but which made you think maybe Mike and Ronnie's lyrics could have been written by some, could have been written a little bit better because all the stuff came out. Lord Finesse joint came out that year. Mm-hmm. The Funky Technician. Yeah, so, but for R&B, it was it was a little sparse. So when this came out, it was crazy. Now I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Do you consider Poison by Bell Biv DeVoe a New Jack Swing album?
That's a very good question.
I know I do that.
Don't consider it a New Jack Swing album, even though a lot of pundits do.
Shit, listen to your words.
Hey man, I've been reading. A lot of pundits do. They consider it New Jack Swing because New Jack Swing was very popular in that particular time. And the reason why I don't is because I always associate New Jack Swing, obviously, with Teddy Riley. While this has a New Jack Swing feel to it, we're going to talk about the production and some of the people that were, responsible for producing this album. They're not New Jack Swing type producers, so I don't give it that New Jack Swing label. But I've seen a lot of publications and outlets and stuff like that label this a New Jack Swing album. I wouldn't say so. In fact, BBD famously referred to themselves as their music was mentally hip hop, smoothed out on the R&B tip with a pop feel appeal to it. So, I wouldn't call it New Jack Swing, but that's a great question, though. I've heard people refer to it as that, though. Yeah, what about you?
I don't. It seemed like this was like the sequel to New Jack Swing. It seemed like it was New Jack Swing Part 2.
But, I can see that. I could definitely see that. I think it just really depends. And I think one of the things that, even going back to what you said about how R&B was top heavy, I remember some publications trying to make this a rap album, but it really isn't a rap album, because they're singing on it. There's elements of R&B in it. This is, and I mean, obviously they've got a couple of ballads on here too. I would never call this a rap album, but some of the producers, some of the production sound. And when you encompass that in the year of 1990, it does, sound a little hip hopish, but no, when you stack that up against just half of those rap albums that you named that came out in 1990, it's not a rap album. It is an R&B album.
Oh, 100%.
No doubt. No doubt. So I think my first impression was I heard about it, but I had no context. So really, my introduction, I think I remember hearing Donnie Simpson talk about it on Video Soul or something like that. That was my only thing. They said, well, hey, they're going to come out with a new group. And they never said what their name was going to be. They just said, Ronnie and Mike and Ricky from New Edition are going to have their own solo group. And that was it. And they didn't go into any detail. So I came into it much like you, sight unseen, unheard. And, I kind of walked away, like you said, like, wow, this Bell Biv DeVoe, BBD, this is what we're getting. Like, this is because when you picked up this album in 1990, if you were looking for Candy Girl, if you were looking for the dance moves and Sorry You're Not My Kind of Girl, and, I don't know, is this the end? This ain't it. Right. This ain't even close to being it. So this album, like I said, dropped March 20th, 1990. It went on to sell 4 million records, quadruple platinum. It was everywhere. It was out of here. I mean, like, just a crazy album. As I mentioned a little earlier, some of the production, a couple of names that stood out to me as far as producers. Dr. Freeze, but the ones that stood out to me the most was
the Bomb Squad.
The Bomb Squad. Eric Sadler, Hank Shocklee, and Keith Shocklee. Now, if you're a hip hop fan, you remember the Bomb Squad from their work with Public Enemy. I guess I should ask you, when did you realize that the Bomb Squad produced this album or most of this album?
Never. I think I read, in the liner notes, but it didn't really click.
Right.
And I paid no attention, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, same here. I think I probably realized this maybe about 2 years ago, if that. But from the Bomb Squad to, Dr. Freeze to Alton Stewart and Timmy Gatlin, they all
now Timmy Gatlin.
Exactly.
Now that I knew about.
Yeah, that we knew because his ties to Guy. He was actually in Guy before. Did they kick him out or did he leave?
Nah, he left right after the photo shoot for the album.
And never got the juice from the album. But yeah, it was this album, again, the production was crazy, but we, again, not seeing this album coming forth, all we know is that once it dropped, it was everywhere. So we got great production, and then we got, like you said, the visuals. What was it about BBD that you think at this particular time that resonated so much with, because we both were relatively young when this came out. You were probably in preschool.
Yeah, and you was 47. But
so I was in high school. I was a junior in high school, and so what was it about their look that you think that kind of resonated with us so much? Because, like you said, you wanted to bite their style because it was just crazy.
It was the sports paraphernalia, the airbrush joints. The sneakers. I mean, if you really think about it, for in that sense, like, she gives me a bang. Did you see New Edition in sneakers?
Never. No, wait a minute. Did you get it yet? Maybe you caught Ralph in some sneakers when he was in the LA Forum.
You see what I'm saying, though? You just never see them in jeans.
That's how far back I got to go.
Count me out and shit like that. It was when you saw him in jeans.
Right.
But you never really saw him in sneakers. So you see him in sneakers, you see him in jerseys, sports T-shirts, baseball caps. Then they had the ill sweaters and the trench coats. I mean, the style was crazy. That plus, they had the greatest dancers in the history of music.
Yes.
The girls with the ponytails and the cut off hockey jerseys or the overalls with the straps down, and they danced their asses off.
And they were mad midriffs.
Well, I'm a big fan of the midriff. So we never seen that before, and we never saw that in hip hop or R&B.
Never. This is true.
So
this is so true.
I don't know who was the mastermind behind that. Something tells me it was Biv, but whoever came up with this concept, whoever came up with, a lot of people said it's New Jack Swing. I didn't know that it was mental, but but whoever came out with that, it was perfect. I mean, they wearing glasses when they didn't need glasses.
Right.
Doing all kind of crazy stuff. It was just dope.
Yeah, it really was.
Pun intended.
Pun intended. Right. It was, I think one of the things that really stood out to us, man, was just they were so different, like you said, from New Edition. So it was like we really got introduced to the grown New Edition. And I don't want to, kind of misconstrue, because Any Heartbreak, which was New Edition's album before, they branched off into Bell Biv DeVoe, that was a very grown album. That wasn't Candy Girl. That was, these guys going through, young adulthood or what have you like that. But like you said, this was a street album, and it had a look and feel, appeal to it, to where we just had to, we gravitated toward the beats and everything else like that. And Ricky was singing on it, and, Bivens and DeVoe backed them up, and it was just, I think it was a perfect time. It was a perfect storm. And I'll be honest, there were a lot of people that didn't think that this was going to work. They didn't know what was going to happen, because think about it. Ricky led on, a lot of New Edition songs, but we never heard Mike and Ron, lead on any songs or anything like that. So we didn't know if they're going to form a group, what they would be doing. But like you said, they flipped the whole script and everything was dope. Excuse me. The next thing I wanted to ask you is, as we get into the songs, what's your favorite? You can tell me just your favorite songs on this album.
Well, that's easy. My favorite song on the album is "I Do Need You."
Okay. Ballad.
Um, yeah. Hey, ladies, I'm single.
Quick question.
Now go ahead.
Does that song remind you of a special young lady back in the day?
Mm-mm.
Okay, all right, just checking. When dudes holler these ballads, I just want to check and make sure.
Nah, that was the either get you ready to call somebody or the play in the background while you're on the phone with somebody. Because you hit them with that because everybody will give you the when will I see you smile again? But nah, you give them the one right after it. So like, oh shit, he ain't like old boy. I'm like, nah, that ain't me.
Right.
But I do need you, do me, and dope. Those, yeah. But I liked everything except for really 1.5 songs.
Okay, which one? That was gonna be my next question. Which ones didn't you like as much?
I mean, the half is I still like it, but I think it's the second weakest song on the album, and that's "Let Me Know Something."
Okay.
I like it, but but ain't nothing changed.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
look, man, that can go now, and it's not because because I love the hook. I like the way the hook was sung. I like and then the music, the beat was cool. It's just the rhymes. Not saying that they were whack. They weren't even they were the weakest of the rhymes on the album.
Facts.
And they sounded like this song. The whole song really sounded like it could have been on the House Party soundtrack. They sounded like Kid and Play on there almost. And so, they got way better after this. They were better on this, but it's just that one didn't get me.
I totally agree.
Yeah, so where you going? Where's your now? If your favorite one was "Ain't Nothing Changed," I'm sorry.
No. That is my least favorite, and it's not that it's a bad song. It's funny you say that because I never really thought about it. Now I could actually picture that song like on a House Party soundtrack. Like I really could see it being there. Not saying it doesn't fit on this album. It just doesn't sound as good as the other songs on the album. Now keep in mind, folks, when this album came out in 1990, I had the tape. So there was no CD. So there was no skipping. So really, you had, and I will go through the track listing, but just to give you a little preview, Ain't Nothing Changed is the 7th song on the album, right?
It's almost smack dab in the middle.
Exactly, because Poison is the 6th song on the album. And then so Ain't Nothing Changed is followed up by the first ballad, When Will I See You Smile Again, which is one of my favorites. So you had to pretty much sit through that song to get to When Will I See You Smile Again, unless you wanted to hit fast forward. And I wasn't about fast forward. I was about that sitting through the album. We ain't really do a lot of fast forwarding back in the day.
Because it was like,
go ahead.
Like, so Poison was like the first song on the second side.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, Ain't Nothing Changed, probably my least favorite. My favorite songs, man, Dope. Definitely BBD, I Thought It Was Me, and When Will I See You Smile Again. Those are probably my 3 favorite songs on the album. I do remember me serenading a young tenderoni. I was singing "When Will I See You Smile Again" to her back in the day.
Lame.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, I'm the Miak Mac, man. I was just saying.
I forgot about that. That is true. Definitely the Miak Mac.
I'm pretty sure she doesn't like me to this day, but I mean, she liked me back then. It was cool. But yeah, there really aren't any bad songs on this album, and actually, there's some dope ass music on this song, on this whole album. But yeah, those are my three. And like I said, Ain't Nothing Changed probably could have been left off, but like I said, I'll sit through it. But like I mentioned, this album 4 times platinum. The first single was released. The title track Poison was released February 24th, 1990. So it came out just before the album came out. Again, the album was released March 20th, 1990. So I tell you what, this is a great place to take a quick break. We'll hear from Bell Biv DeVoe. And on the other side, man, we'll go through the tracks, man, and tell you what we liked about the album and tell you what we really, really think about this album. So sit tight. We'll be back in just a second.
You all didn't expect this, did you? You wanted it, but you didn't expect it.
Definitely. It's something that we wanted. Like you said, we didn't expect it. We expected to have some kind of success because we are from the group New Edition, so a lot of people know of us. But for it to be, on the level that it is now, to sell 3 million albums before our first date on tour, we never expected something like that. So we're shooting for, 5 and 6, hopefully, and with everyone's support out there, we'll be able to do it.
And just like that, we are back. Once again, it's your boy 12 Kyle. This is the 12 Kyle podcast, and I got my man Eclectic in the building.
Rah.
And we're talking about the 1990 debut album from Bell Biv DeVoe, aka BBD. It's entitled Poison. And as I mentioned before the break, that we're going to come back and talk about the tracks. So let's get right into it, man. First track, produced by Dr. Freeze. It's called Dope, aka She's Dope. One thing I realized in doing a little bit of research on this album, they didn't write a lot of lyrics on this album as far as Bell Biv DeVoe is concerned. Is that surprising to you?
No, because R&B. Most R&B and pop acts, they don't write the lyrics to their songs. Some of the most famous and important songs ever, they didn't write them. I wouldn't expected that. I wouldn't even thought of that. So nah, they cool.
Yeah, it was just something that it just kind of jumped out at me. Not like you said, when it comes to R&B, you don't really, people don't care who wrote the song. And 9 times out of 10, the artists themselves didn't write it. But
right.
you
Let's
can't
think about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Any Heartbreak, the album, just about 95% of it was written by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
This is true.
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't write shit. Matter of fact, the only thing that they wrote was Super Lady. Ralph had his solo Competition.
Right.
He wrote that.
Okay.
And then they did the That's the Way We're Living. That's it. Everything else was
wow.
They didn't write Can You Stand the Rain or Not My Type of Girl or If It Isn't Love. If Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis wrote If It Isn't Love. so when you ask me, like, nah, I wouldn't expect the right shit.
Oh, you got a point there. It's interesting. So this album comes out, and like I said,
didn't even write Candy Girl.
They were like 7 when Candy Girl came out.
Just saying, man. It ain't like there was complex lyrics. But go ahead.
No doubt. So the first track, Dope, is it leads off. I think Dope is a great lead off. Again, it's got the little piano riff. This surprised me the first time I heard it because, again, we're getting this album sight unseen, unheard. So we don't know. All we see is the cover. And, the guys are pretty decked out on the cover. And then you start playing it. The first song that you play is Dope. And it's like, wait a minute. This is really what they're doing here? Like, I couldn't believe it.
Oh, man. I'm telling you, that's probably Dope is my favorite fast song on the album. And when I heard that, I was like, come on, man, this is crazy because you never heard them sound like this. You never heard a song like, again, I gotta express what was out then. What was out, and because like I said, "Oh Girl, I'm Your Baby Tonight," Mariah Carey, even the Keep Sweat stuff, it didn't sound like this.
Nope.
It didn't sound like Dope.
Nope.
So the mere fact that they were giving you this, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I think even like you said, not only did nobody give you this type of sound, nobody looked the way that they looked. And so I guess what the picture that I want to paint for the people listening who may not have been around when this album came out in 1990, understand that Ricky Bell, Michael Bivins, and Ron DeVoe are three members of New Edition, but they weren't the most popular or, out in front guys. They were kind of like the background guys really in the group. So
as a matter of fact, that Bell Biv DeVoe is probably the ranking of them as far as popularity after the other people who are not in, after the other people that are in New Edition. It goes to people who are in New Edition, which is Bobby, then Ralph.
You don't think Ralph more popular? No, stop it. Bobby's clearly the most popular member and my favorite.
It goes Bobby, then Ralph, and only goes Ralph because he was the lead singer.
Yes.
So it goes Bobby, Ralph, Ricky. What's up? It goes Bobby, Ralph, Ricky, Mike, and then Ronnie. So that's really, I think that's the ranking. Their name is the ranking.
Yeah. So these guys were, I don't want to demean it by saying they were bad, but they were the least most popular people in the group. And honestly, this album, if this had been Bobby Brown and two other people, we probably wouldn't have been surprised. Given the fact of the superstardom that Bobby was on and the run that he was on at the time that this album came out, because Bobby still was crushing it. But this album was phenomenal. And to think that these three guys could defect from New Edition and produce this kind of album was really unreal to us as fans.
Because
go ahead.
This was basically their Bobby Brown album.
Yes.
Preach. Because out of and let's be real here, of the 9 songs that's on this album, except for, I think, Ain't Nothing Changed, which we said is probably the weakest. That's the only one they ain't talk about women, getting women, having sex with women.
Right.
Every song, hey, she's dope. Hey, I thought it was me that made that girl. Hey, girl, let me know something. Hey, girl, do me. Hey, that girl's poison. Right. Hey, when I want to see you smile again, girl. Hey, I need you, girl. It was they shit. And so not only that, so since we're talking about dope, the song crazy, never heard anything like that. And then we got the video, which wasn't the version on the album.
Nope, sure wasn't.
And it was even better.
The video was the remix, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
The video was the remix. And wow.
Yes.
It was just incredible. So, but that song, and I can't talk about the song without talking about the video. And also, when we talk about I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the boots.
Yes.
Wasn't nobody doing the boots.
Nobody. Again, this is 1990.
Jodeci. This is before Jodeci. Jodeci was still singing with Father MC a little bit after this. I mean, so they had the boot. BBD does not get the respect that they deserve,
right?
Because they are the ones that took the I guess R&B group to the street.
Yes. Fact.
They, but you go to that video, they had leather beeper covers with their names on them. I mean, they have the baseball caps, but they had twisted the brims up, make them look all weird. Nobody's ever done that. Didn't nobody even do that then?
Nope. Nobody.
Or since. They had, like I said, they had the airbrush joints. Always had a fresh cut.
Mm-hmm.
Rocking inside out.
Inside out with the tag on it.
I mean, and then they had the girls and the spandex,
Yes.
the spandex, the biker short, the biker pants.
Yes.
They were wearing the boots with the shorts. They were wearing construction
crushing it.
Crushing it. I mean, they stage shows was crazy. This was they Bobby Brown joint though, and they had excellent branding. Everything had Bell Biv DeVoe on it. You know, they made sure you knew who they were. But dope, incredible song, sexy X-rated video queen.
Yes, yes, man. Listen, that joint was so hard. That's a perfect way to lead off an album. Then it's followed up on track 2 by BBD. I Thought It Was Me. Man, listen, this joint. Again, I was in high school, so you could when this came on, you couldn't tell me nothing. Man, I just remember this being played at our school dances and stuff like that, man. We used to just jam to this joint, man. It was, and again, I'm rocking out to this song and have no clue at the time that it was produced by the Bomb Squad. And I love the Bomb Squad for what they did with Public Enemy, but to go from Public Enemy to, Bell Biv DeVoe, that's like night and day. And, yeah, BBD, I Thought It Was Me. Again, as I mentioned, one of my favorite songs on the album. It's a great second song, and it just shows you where the album is just taking off. And I'll be honest, this, as much as I love Dope, when I heard BBD, I Thought It Was Me, I was hooked. They had me right there. Like the rest of the album could have been trash. It probably wouldn't have mattered because they had me at this song right here. What'd you think about it?
Again, not only was it the second song, in the video, it was a continuation from the Dope video. But I like this song because it was a story.
Yes.
Telling us about the chick. And then the beat, now that when you realize it was the Bomb Squad, you can hear the Bomb Squad.
Yes, now you can.
But if you don't know, you wouldn't have known that they produced this thing. You would have had no idea. But again, I'm going to the video. They had the helicopters with Bell Biv DeVoe on the side.
That shit was so dope, man.
then unlike Dope, they hit us with the casual wear. They hit us with the jeans. Biv had some overalls, but they weren't jean. They were just like whatever the fuck, some overalls. They had the trench coat. Ronnie had on like a leather jacket or something, a sweater. And they still had the girls dancing. And the other cool thing I liked about their songs, but in the videos, like, they had a story, like, it seemed like they had jobs and shit.
Yes.
It was just like, hey, this video, like, I think I Thought It Was Me. Biv was at like a drafting table with mad engineering stuff, but then he had like a basketball hoop on the wall.
They had always had fly women in their videos too.
Yeah, definitely.
Sheesh.
She was sticking closer to you than the bread on the meat of my sandwich.
I know you rock the boots, cuz.
Oh my God.
Man, let me tell you that, like you said, a lot of, getting, talking about girls, getting with girls. And again, for me, that was right up my alley because I'm like 16, 17 years old. So that's track 2. Then you go to track 3, Let Me Know Something. We talked about it a little bit earlier. I like this joint, man. Another joint produced by the Bomb Squad. You know, I like, he said, you used to be prim and proper. Now you're, what do you say? Prima donna. Now you're gone because you're no longer the apple of my eye. Kiss all the crap goodbye. Man, I like their raps on this one, man. I think that these guys were, you know, again, it was that they weren't any threat to, you know, Rakim and LL, but
they were no threat to King T.
Yeah, shout out to King T. But
I mean, my favorite, like one of my favorite West Coast dudes.
Oh yeah,
but,
no doubt. But you're right. They weren't. That's the thing, man. They weren't rappers, but they could rap, and we didn't mind, man. And even going back to something you mentioned a little earlier, man, about the videos. We're also, as you guys are listening, you understand we're associating these songs with the videos because the videos went with the songs because that's how they packaged it, and the videos enhanced the songs, even though the songs are already dope.
And you know why else? And if you're a younger person now, you're like, nah, man, that's whack. They was rapping. The reason why they can get that off is because they were first. And what I mean by first, I mean first.
Really first.
They were rapping on Candy Girl. They were rapping.
As strange as that sounds.
Cool It Now. No one was doing pop songs, R&B songs, and rapping. The closest you would get an R&B, like in the 80s, you would get an R&B, and then they had Big Daddy Kane come on, or Rakim come on with Jody Watley, or Ecstasy come on with Midnight. But no, they were the group, and then they rapped in the early 80s. So you're like, nah, Ronnie DeVoe, he's been rapping. When that came out, he's already been rapping for like 10 years.
Right.
So like, nah,
Bars.
let him get that off. He been rapping forever, man. He could get that off. Let him, come on. Let me know something, girl. Yeah. You ain't fresh in your fresh gear. So Maria, see ya.
Yeah, man, I love that joint, man. So Let Me Know Something was track 3. Then we go to track 4, which happened to be the second release. It was released on June 10th, 1990. Do Me. Take a look at me. Tell me, do you like what you see? Do you think you can? Do you think you can do me? Man, listen. Whew.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You cook. Go ahead.
Look, that song, that might be the best song on that album. I mean, again, the way you just started it off, and matter of fact, that might be the first song in the history of songs Ronnie went first.
He does go first. And he don't go first on a lot of songs. In fact, you don't really hear a lot from Ronnie outside of rapping, but he's actually singing.
What I'm saying, he sung. He didn't start off rapping. He tried to give it to him. I mean, and he got it off, man. This song has some sauce in it. Would you mind if I looked at you for a moment? I mean, that's
before I make sweet love to you.
Now we're gonna be honest here. In 2020, 2021, whenever you're hearing this,
right,
you could not get off backstage.
Yeah.
Underage.
Yeah.
Adolescents. How you doing?
I like to do the wild thing.
Action took place.
Hey.
It's
whack.
It's wet.
Oh, it's
kind of wet.
I'm sorry, we're not whack. It's wet.
Kind of wet. Don't forget.
Don't forget.
Well, now, at least he performed and practiced safe sex. But boy, did he just say it was an underage adolescent that he smashed backstage.
You cannot get that off at the time of this recording. It's impossible.
However, it is important to say, regardless of what he said, two things. One, for us, an iconic verse. And two, man, we was just partying, man. We don't pay no attention to what he said. Back then, it was like, come on, man. It's 1990, man. Man, go get your little 15-year-old. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, we did let him slide with that. I mean, we really, really let him slide. And nobody said nothing.
Nobody. We still don't care. We just got to bring it up because it's funny now that they got that off.
Right. And you know what? You could be in the club and then come on and you'll sing the lyrics and keep it going. You won't even think twice about it.
This might be the best song on the album.
Yeah.
I mean, I know everyone loves Poison, but I will say this. From this entire album, start to finish, Poison, the bridge for Poison is the only thing close to iconic as smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no.
Oh no.
Listen, everyone knows that.
Your granny knows that.
People who don't know who BBD is can finish that. People who have never heard this song can finish that.
Yes. That is the most iconic. That's probably one of the most iconic sings coming out of the 90s. Smack it up, flip
to the jacuzzi. Ooh, that booty. Smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no!
Oh no!
Because for those of you playing at home, you know why I was oh no? It was over.
It was over. It was a wrap.
That was it.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, man. You're right. You're right. That might be. Yeah, Poison is heralded, but that might be that one lyric alone puts Do Me up there with one of the best songs. I say one of the best songs that come in the 90s. Period. R&B or hip hop. So we go from that to track 5. Go ahead. You want to go back?
I would be irresponsible. And the people that listen to this that was outside when this came on would kill me for this. I'm not even gonna kill you for this because you got a job to do. You got to make sure the pace is going. We got to get through all these songs. But I, a stickler for details, will not get off without giving a shout out to the video of Do Me with a very young and fine Nia Long.
She was in the video?
See everybody?
I got to go. I got to go back. As soon as we finish, I got to go back.
You remember in the video where they take a look at me and then the girl with the silver bikini and the guitar?
Yes.
That's Nia Long.
Get the fuck out of here. I did not know that.
And she's also on the boat during the Biv's verse. Yeah, that's Nia Long.
Yo, I'm going. I gotta see that. Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah,
never knew that.
It would have been irresponsible of me to not mention that.
See, that's why I have to have you on here, because I would have done this podcast and not even mention that, because I didn't know. Wow, that's what's up. Yes, okay, so we moved from that video with Nia Long and that song. Dude, you guys make sure when you finish listening to this podcast, you go and watch the video on YouTube. To the next track 5. Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike, Ralph, and Johnny.
And that's it. And that's it. Word to the mother.
Word to the mother.
Word to the
Which
mother.
was a popular saying back in the day. Instead of saying word to the motherfucker, we say word to the mother.
And then
or was it word
really cool when you said word to the mother.
Right.
With a V, because the V is for victory.
Exactly. And don't say word to the motherland, because that was kind of old. But yeah, that was another banger that I liked as well. Another one produced by this one was actually produced by BBD themselves and Peace Production, Wolf and Epic. This one they actually wrote. I'll be honest, as much as I like this track, and you know where I'm going, the remix, and we will talk about the remix before we finish the podcast. The remix was better. And so when I think about this song, I always think about the remix. I will listen to this album And when I finish listening to this album, I always go back and listen to the remix of Word to the Mother, just because I have to. Just because the song is iconic. That's all.
I can't disagree with anything you said. The only thing that I will give you is, at the time Poison came out, the remix didn't exist.
Right.
So that's all we had.
That's all we had.
So basing it on what we had at the time, the song was dope. I was like, okay, I loved it. But yeah, the remix. I'm not going to say. Nah, maybe. I might have cried when I saw the remix video.
I think you said that on the other podcast.
yeah. I think I teared up. Especially after the very beginning of the song was done, because that was the only time. Oh boy, I don't know who invited him to the video shoot. Well, shut up. He had nothing else to say for the whole, and that's why the song is incredible.
If you guys haven't figured this out yet, Eclectik has a beef with Johnny Gill.
What? Who? What's that? Oh, old boy that made the album with Stacey Lasso.
Old boy.
Oh boy, nah, he made the album with Stacey Lasso. Really?
Perfect combination.
Yeah. See, I remember him
with the curl and all.
Yeah, whatever happened to that guy?
But yeah, man, you're right. But that's all we had when this song. And don't get me wrong, for those of you listening, this is a dope ass song. It belongs in this album. Phenomenal track. It's just my preference is the remix of this version because it features all New Edition members. But this song jams nonetheless. So yeah, I just had to throw that in. Then we flip the tape. And we go to track 1, which is track 6 if you're scoring at home. The title track, Poison.
Deadly, moving in slow.
Produced by Dr. Freeze. The low pro hole should be cut like an afro. I think that's the first time they let people get off the word hole without bleeping it out on the radio.
They didn't catch it.
They didn't catch it. Like, the low pro hole should be cut like an afro. Me and the crew used to do her. I mean, like, they just admitted that this chick was a freak. And the crew, she went through the crew.
Boy, was there some backsides in that video.
Yes, it was. And for those who do not know Eclectik, please tell the people when you hear the word poison in this song, where's that from?
That would be from a Mr. Kool G Rap. Kool G Rap is, in my opinion, probably the second greatest lyricist in hip hop history. But he is responsible for the sample. He's the one that sang Poison. The song was Poison by Kool G Rap on his Road to the Riches album with DJ Polo. Mm-hmm. And also, if you look really closely, while they're doing the break and they're going poison, Kool G Rap is in the video saying poison. Yeah, it's on a blue and white jogging suit or something like that.
Chilling.
Yeah, he's in the video.
There it is. I just wanted you guys to hear that because for some reason I want people to make sure that they understand and recognize history and recognize people's contributions to songs.
And speaking of contributions, if you've ever listened to my podcast, Eclectic Discussion Podcast, or the Encyclopedia Hip Hop Podcast,
there you go.
You might have heard me interview Kwame,
who's never been on my podcast before, despite having a close personal relationship with Eclectic. But go ahead.
All right. In which he tells a short story of how he heard Poison and thought it was whack and wrote their lyrics for him. The raps.
He did. Now, and you know what's weird? Did he ever get like songwriting credits for that?
I do not believe so
Oh,
because
yeah, okay.
basically what he's basically said was he was in the backseat of the car. Like, man, just give me some paper real quick here. It wasn't a studio sesh. It wasn't like, yo, could you? He was just like, man, here. Yeah. So that was a thing. That was definitely a thing.
Yeah,
but
man.
that song, again, this song is legendary. And it's because people of all ages, when Ricky started singing,
Mm-hmm.
when he hit the "It's Driving Me Out of My Mind," whoever's there, they're singing that.
Yes.
They might not sing any other part of the song, but all the way up until that girl is from "It's Driving Me Out of My Mind" to that girl is, they're singing it. And when they're not singing the rest of the song, they're dancing their asses off. That song, and I'm wrestling with this right now. I'm going to ask you your opinion. Is Poison more iconic? I'm using that word a lot. Legendary than If It Isn't Love?
Ooh. I would say yes. It's not.
Because I was gonna say, I was like, If It Isn't Love, a lot of people know that dance routine.
Yeah, of course.
But boy, do a lot of people know the Poison breakdown dance routine.
Yeah, it is. It's I would say it's definitely more iconic than If It Isn't Love. And that's saying a lot because that is one of New Edition's greatest songs as far as, their popularity and everything.
I can't think of one bigger than If It Isn't Love for New Edition.
I would say, okay, follow up. Is it bigger than Can You Stand the Rain? Because I would make a case that Can You Stand the Rain is bigger.
Only reason why, I mean, look, because you're going ballad to fast song.
True.
So in the realms of
I got you.
Cole turn the party out.
Gotcha.
Poison is going to win that.
You're right.
And I don't think more people know Can You Stand the Rain than they know Poison.
You're right. Poison probably. You're right, because Poison probably is their. I would say Poison is probably New Edition, the collective, from everybody in the group, maybe with the exception of Bobby's hits. I don't think anybody else has had a bigger hit than Poison.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy to think that the three least important people made something better than, as far as popularity and longevity.
Right.
Than the New Edition discography.
This is true. You probably could put maybe, it's not bigger than Don't Be Cruel, but that's probably about it when it comes to the crew as far as their discography. And that's saying a lot because, again, the lyrics, like you said, was written by Kwame. And, these guys were, I don't want to call them cast-offs, but nobody thought that this was going to be anything or go anywhere. And here it is. It's quadruple platinum and Bell Biv DeVoe is a household name. And they're on MTV and BET and everything.
And that song was being used in movies, TV shows. It starts a club. You scratch it. You can.
Yes. And it still jams to this day. I don't care where you are. This song, and you'll know what I'm talking about. This song is so iconic that you can be somewhere and they won't start the song from the beginning. They'll start from the bridge where Ricky's saying, "It's driving me out of my mind."
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all they got to do.
That's all they got to do.
Everyone was saying that.
Everybody's saying
that. And here's the other thing. You know what? I'm gonna backtrack on something I said earlier.
Okay.
Because I just thought about it. Smack It Up, Flip It, Rub It Down is close to. It's 1B. Because I said it was the most iconic thing line on there, but I just remembered. Don't trust a big butt and a smile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that got stuck up. Flip it.
Yeah.
Don't trust a
Never
big butt.
trust a big butt and a smile. Yeah. I mean, people still saying that to this day. Never trust a big butt and a smile because you'll see 1,000 of them on IG.
And those people might not have never heard the song, but they know that. Damn. This song is incredible.
Yeah, it is. It truly is. And it's one of those songs that has aged tremendously. We will be 80 years old talking about Poison, Deadly, moving real slow, looking for, I mean, like, it's one of those songs that if somebody says a word from the song to you, not even singing the song, you will start rapping. Somebody can walk into your office and say Poison, and you'll say Deadly, moving in slow, looking for a mellow, felt like DeVoe getting paid.
Man.
Oh man, iconic. You're right, man. You get no argument from me. It's never trust a big butt and a smile. Still to this day, still reigns supreme. Then we go into track 7. Ain't Nothing Changed. We talked about that a little earlier. Like I said, probably our least favorite track, but still a very good track, particularly for this album. That too was produced by the Bomb Squad. Then we go into the ballads. The aforementioned When Will I See You Smile Again, produced and written by Alton Stewart and Timmy Gatlin. Man, Ricky singing ballads. People know New Edition from, Ralph singing. They know it from, Johnny when he joined the group.
What's that?
I forgot who I'm talking to. So, question, did this song surprise you at all?
Yes.
Okay.
It surprised me because up until then, there was no indication that they were going to do a song that had even a mid-tempo.
This is true because everything else is up-tempo up until this point.
Yeah, you are 15 pounds down and dripping with sweat by the time When I See You Smile comes on. So,
right.
So to that I say, yes, I was surprised.
Right.
Because when you, even if you did read the credits and the track list, by the time you hadn't forgot what you read.
Right.
And who knows how they're gonna give you When Will I See You Smile? It could be, bitch, when I'm gonna see you. You don't know.
Smack it up, flip it, rub it down.
Yeah, you don't know. So as far as that is concerned, yes, it was a surprise. But man, that's a great song.
It is.
I will say this. Personally, now this is just personal, and I don't necessarily even think, okay, there could be a very good reason. But shut up. Personally, I enjoy this more than Can You Stand the Rain.
Stop it.
I didn't say it was better.
No. I got you. No, you know.
And
I understand.
I also clarify where if you really think about it, you can understand why I would say that.
Right. I understand. Yeah.
And great video too.
It is. Oh, yes. Hell yeah. This song was the 4th song that was released. It was released January 4th, 1991. Mad airplay, mad video play. Man, what can I say? Like you said, I'm like you. I was surprised because at this point we had, we had been poisoned. We had been done. We had been told it was dope. I mean, we had been through all kinds of emotions up until this point throughout this album. And then we slow it down at the end of the album with When Will I See You Smile Again. As I mentioned earlier, my favorite ballad on the album. It's incredible, man. It is one of those songs that made quite a few of my slow jams, get the draws tapes when I was making the tapes. So, so yeah, I love this joint. And then we moved to track 9, the aforementioned "I Do Need You."
This is my
man. Let me tell you something.
Ricky went off.
He did. He did. And this was a time where I think one of the things that I love about this era was that your ballads just were on point. And I think I go back to what you said a little bit earlier about Keith Sweat. Mm-hmm. The ballads are just on point. You know, like there's no drop off from one ballad to the next ballad on a cohesive album. And, you know, whatever you want to say about Keith Sweat, you can say it. But to your point, his ballads on his albums, particularly those first 2 albums, those ballads don't fall off. They are banger after banger after banger. And I say the same. For as much as I love When Will I See You Smile Again, if anybody like you says, I think I Do Need You is better, I have no beef because it's a banging ass song.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you listen to that album and you hear When Will I See You Smile Again, you see the video, you're like, shit, they done killed it. And then the next song come on, you're like, how?
Right.
Wait, come on, man.
Right.
And then you mad because there's no album left.
No.
It's just a Poison remix. And then you're
exactly.
Like, come on, give me about 3 more ballads.
They really could have.
And these are essentially Ricky solos.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. The guys, you know, the other guys are backing him up, but you're right. They're pretty much his solos.
And I mean, these 2 songs, but I Do Need You, he's saying his face. And here's the thing. Hold on real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. 90s, late 80s, well, all of 80s actually, early 90s, the ballads, the subject matter was so on point and it was varied, and the songwriting, the lyrics was so different, because essentially I Do Need You and When Will I See You Smile Again could be like the same thing, but they're 2 totally different written songs. They were sung differently. The arrangement is so different. You can't get that nowadays across 15 artists. Mm-mm. The ballads, if they're ballads, they're going to sound the exact same, and they're going to say the same things about the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to sound the same.
That is crazy how you can have 2 songs back to back like this that are just ridiculous. And then, like we were talking about Keith Sweat, have like, he'll give you 5 or 6, and they're all different.
Mm-hmm.
He could, all he doing is begging and pleading. But he begged 5 different ways. It could have been the same girl, but he begged 5 different ways.
True. This is so true.
Yeah, so man, but yeah, I Do Need You.
Yeah,
please, I implore you to listen to the song. It puts you in the mood. And Ricky sang his face off.
He did. He really did. And I mean, just to add to your point, like you said, there's no fall off. This album, the only knock, and I don't have any knocks for this album. The only knock I would give the album, if it would be a knock, is that, yeah, I could have gotten 2 more ballads just to close it out. I'm cool. The next song, you know, was track 10, the Poison Extended Club remix. You know, that's cool. But, you know, I could have done, you know, another 2 ballads or so, but this album is flawless, man. As I mentioned before, one of the best R&B albums from the 90s, period. And, you know, the thing I want to impress upon the people that are listening is that, like I said, it was just if it had been Bobby that did this album, if it had been Ralph that had done this album, I don't think he collectively think Johnny could have pulled this off.
Who's that?
But just from these three guys, man, I thought it was incredible, man. What were some of your biggest takeaways from this album?
That Ricky was, I mean, after my man left, the best singer in New Edition, and I didn't necessarily realize it. He's an unsung hero in New Edition. They technically invented a subgenre of music. That mental hip hop smoothed out because they extended that through the East Coast family, the Boyz II Men stuff, the ABC stuff. They had a small, niche. They did something for themselves, and they made one of probably top 3 most iconic songs in the New Edition family tree. Poison, the album is crazy, but that song, people don't really realize how dope that song is. What anniversary is this?
This is 30 years.
30 years. Now, people listening, all them songs you like right now. All them songs you loving.
All those artists that you loving.
Yeah, your little Uzi squirts.
Uzi Vertical.
Yeah. And you listen, even your J Electronica.
Oh my gosh. Summer Walkers.
In 2050.
Wow.
In 2050. When they throw on that fucking when they throw on that Meg in 2050, just let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know in 2050.
I'm pretty sure she won't be twerking in 2050. I'm pretty sure.
I'm just saying when in 2050, when those 25-year-olds who weren't born when the Meg came out, when they're somewhere and someone throws on the Meg,
the Meg,
will they be singing the Meg and dancing? Because again, he said 30 years. I've been to many a brunch.
Right.
And many a day party.
Mm-hmm.
And many of those have people that's 25, 26, 27 years old. They're not 30. And even if they were 30, they would have been 1. Mm. And when Ricky starts singing and the dun, 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 dun happens,
right,
it's active.
Yes, always.
So that's all I'm saying.
Always active. Always. I agree with you, man. This album, I mean, it's really hard to believe that this album is actually turning 30 years old. As you guys can see, we are sitting here, waxing poetic about it because it resonates just that much. Before we get out of here, I would be remiss if I did not mention the remix album. Let me put you guys up on a little something. Back in the day, in the 90s, if an album was incredibly dope, they would take the songs and remix the songs and put out a whole nother album just of the remixes of the original songs. And guess what? We'd cop it. Mm-hmm. So this album that we're talking about, it comes out in 1990, March 20th, 1990. On August 27th of 1991, they drop a new album, a remix album called WBBD, Boot City, the remix album. And it was incredible. And I bought that shit.
Listen, the this is what I want to explain to people. That came out, and I'm going back earlier when I say that Bell Biv DeVoe, and really the Poison album, but Bell Biv DeVoe do not get the respect that they deserve because WBBD Boot City, the remix album, unheard of. Year later, oh shit, it's the What's the 411 remix album. This is incredible. Ain't nobody did this before.
Right.
Like, huh? What?
Yeah, BBD, they were first. They were first.
Like, what are you talking about?
And people did forget just that fast, too.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, SWV just dropped the album of all their remixes.
Yeah, they weren't the first.
And for what they did to the Do Me song. The Do Me remix.
Which was already a dope song in and of itself.
The smoothed out.
Yes.
Hey, man. But yes, word to the mother.
Yeah.
It started to,
ain't nothing changed.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, why couldn't that have been on that?
Right. We had to give it to you the first time and then correct it. Man, it was that album again.
The one where I see you smile again.
Yes.
The only thing, I don't think they did the I Do Need You as well as they should have. But that one I see you
I like the saxophone at the end.
Yeah.
And the piano.
But the one where I See You Smile remix.
Yeah, that was cold. That was cold. Yeah, man. It's.
Here's the question.
Go ahead.
Is it better than Poison?
I somehow knew that you were going to ask me this.
So somehow answer it.
I can't say that it's better than Poison. Just because Poison has sentimental value to me. Because I remember going to Ray's record shop in Florence, South Carolina, my hometown, and buying this tape. I think I bought it maybe a week or so after it came out because everybody in my school at Wilson High School had it. And so that was another thing too. Like, for those of you listening who, when there was no internet, we had to get in our cars, go to the record store and buy tapes. So you bought the tape and then, if Eclectik and I are in school and Eclectik has the tape, and if he's not willing to let me cop a dub from him, I got to go buy the tape. And usually what happens is word of mouth, people start talking about, like, you didn't want to be the one who didn't have the tape. So I had to go get this tape. So it's Poison like I said, it's sentimental to me. I could still go to my hometown and I could still go to that same record store that's still open, surprisingly. And I'm pretty sure that the Poison tape is probably still in there, probably in a box somewhere, but they still have the album. But I'm going to say just for sentimental value, the Poison album is better. If you said Boot City was better, I can't disagree. Because it might be better. It might be better. Because the remixes are so fucking cold. I mean, like, you can't, those remixes, most people ain't touching. And I'm glad that you made the point about how people forget, because you're right. Mary J came with What's the 411, then she dropped the What's the 411 remix, and people lost their minds, and rightfully so, but she wasn't the first to do it.
I'm talking a year later.
Yes. It wasn't even that long. And here we are. And like you said, they forgot all about BBD. But yeah, this Poison album doesn't get us. We're definitely giving them their flowers. So I got to ask you, which one you taking? Boot City or Poison?
I'm going Boot City. Sonically.
Okay.
If I get rid of, like, I don't know why they put the London style remix of Poison on there again, but when you add what they did to see. The only thing I'm missing is the original. Well, no, I get the Do Me Mental. Nah, yeah, give me this because I get the Do Me Mental remix, and I get the Word to the Mother, and I get the One Will I See You Smile. Nah, yeah, I'm going with this one.
Yeah, it's cold, man. It's cold. Like I said, you can't go wrong with either one. The Poison album, again, iconic album, and then they do a remix album, which is just as good, if not better.
And they made the worst song on Poison better on this. You know, yeah, I'm
Yes.
wrong. I'm wrong.
Yes. Oh man. Before we get out of here, man, tell the people where they can catch you at, man.
Man, you can catch me. I'm in quarantine. You can catch me. You can catch me 6 feet away from you.
Yeah, you can't catch me.
Nah.
In fact, don't get near me.
You can't catch me, and I ain't catching you.
Right.
So, but if and please don't say it after I say this. You can catch me on Instagram at eclectik.
Oh man.
And on the podcast, Eclectic Discussion Podcast, Encyclopedia Hip Hop Podcast. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I mean, you can.
You ain't there?
Hey, I didn't disable it. If you go back and read my old tweets, they fucking flames.
But you're not missing nothing on Twitter, man. I'm telling you.
I know this, but now is a good time to be on Twitter because
no, it's not, man. Because everybody's telling you the world is coming to the end because of this coronavirus, man. It's not.
I'm not even sure you're allowed to say that. But if you do want to follow me on Twitter, at I am eclectic, and at Tweet Rhymes Life. And but yeah,
and one got to go on IG.
Yeah. Official one got to go.
There you go. Oh my gosh, they've been biting so hard, bro.
Man, still in my style, biting on the ice like a crocodile. Man. If anyone that just heard that and know what song and what artist said that, if you send me a message on Instagram, I'll send you something.
Please do, because I don't know what song that's from. I've heard it before, I think, but I don't know where.
But no, I'm most active on Instagram. And so you can check me out there. And maybe I'll be back on this podcast. Never know.
Yeah, you'll be back if for no other reason, man. Somebody else has a 30th coming this year. Some dude named James Smith. So we got to talk about him. So.
That's who made I Don't Want to Fall in Love. Oh, that was Jane Child. My bad. That's not.
So come on, man. You on just about every other podcast. We
except for the ones that's my favorite shit.
Look at this guy. You guys know where to find me. You've been listening this long. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. That's gonna do it for us. So for my man Eclectic, I'm your boy 12 Kyle. We'll catch you guys on the next go round. 5G.